Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of the FinTech Hunting Podcast. We have an awesome show for you today. Two amazing individuals. They're financial literacy experts, they're industry thought leaders, newly minted authors of Rethink Everything You Know of Financial Literacy, the teen edition. Please help me welcome Brooke Lapides, Director of Business Partner Development at MeridianLink, and Dana Georgiou, Chief Everything Officer. I love that title. You're going to have to tell me a little bit about that. Ladies, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
I don't know if I've ever been introduced to such fever. Like, that was amazing.
That was fantastic.
I love it, and it's very genuine. I love having the guest. My guests always have a wealth of knowledge and expertise, and it goes for the two of you. And the first thing I would like to say is, welcome to the Rethink Everything family. I was part of the green book. You guys are now part of the white book, but it is so nice to have you guys on. We're going to dive right in. You guys have written and you've partnered with people to come up with an incredible book, Rethink Everything You Know About Financial Literacy. It's the teen edition. Brooke, talk to me about what was the inspiration for the book?
Would love to. Once again, just thank you so much for having us, helping us get the message out. We're so grateful for your support, and thank you for ordering a book. This is my second financial literacy book. My first one came out last April, which was for younger kids. It's Financial Fun from A to Z. I wrote that one primarily for my son. It was just a passion project, something I've always been very passionate about, introducing kids from a very young age to financial terms, things that they hear in the background, but nobody ever really explains, and they don't know what it means. What is a mortgage? What does that even actually mean? That type of thing.
You just won a big award for that, if I saw that correctly. Yes?
Yes, I did.
Congratulations.
On Monday. Thank you. I won the Eiffel Award, which is the Excellence in Financial Literacy Education from the Institute for Financial Literacy for Children's Book of the Year. So I was very, very excited and honored to receive that award. So after that book, I, at some point last year, was introduced to Kyle Draper, who everybody knows, the godfather of the Rethink Everything series. And then Dana, I don't even remember exactly how we connected. I think it was in the comments of a LinkedIn post, and we started talking about wanting to do another project. And you want to take it from there?
Yeah, that's exactly how it happened. You had posted about having a meeting with Kyle, and you had been talking about your book, and I'm like, oh, because I have been thinking about this book for years and years. And I thought, there's no better person that I want than, Brooke. She just published one. She's an advocate for this. Like, she has a deep, deep passion for this message. And so I think I pinged you. We were on a call the next day. I said, hey, I want nothing but women on this, this first series of this book. And you thought that was a great idea. And it seems like it almost happened overnight. Like, it was just this quick set of Legos that just started clicking into each other for the book to finally come to fruition. So yeah, it seems like it was just this really easy thing that just came up. The universe just brought it to us.
You guys brought so many good things up. I'm going to start chunking some of those for our listeners. But the first lesson is they connected digitally on LinkedIn because of a comment. I hope all of you are listening. Think of the incredible partnership that they now have and an amazing book that they've published because they responded to a comment, and then it kind of snowballed from there. Brooke, talk to me about, you guys made the decision to put all women authors in the book. Kind of how did you guys decide that? And I'm so tickled that you did. I'm friends with so many of the authors. I'm not going to read, I don't know, there was almost 20 of them or whatever. I know there's 24 chapters. I just got my book today, so I haven't read everything. But talk to me about that.
Yes. Well, we forgive you for not reading it yet. We expect a book report by, let's say, this time next week. So you have 1 week. But there are 24 chapters, 14 authors, including Dana and I. We both had, a Rolodex of women who we were like, this person would be amazing. It actually didn't even start off, I think, right away as like, let's only invite women. We just started thinking of the people we wanted, and we realized after 7 or 8 names that it was all women. So we were like, this is fantastic. Let's keep going. We love the men in our industry who do their part to help spotlight women and other people who don't have a mic, as Greg Scher would say. But we just thought it would be really cool for this project if we just made it an all-woman endeavor.
I love it. And like I said, some of my dearest friends in the industry have written chapters in the book. I can't wait to hear what they had to say and what you guys had to say. So you're passionate about financial literacy, the two of you. Talk to me. What do you hope people get from this book? Dana,
Well,
go ahead. The floor is
yeah,
yours.
I mean, my hope is, a lot of the forethought of this book came from me raising 2 daughters, and talking about checking accounts and mortgage and investments were just part of our everyday dialogue, because I was a single mom, in the financial services. And so they would overhear conversations. I mean, to this day, if my cell phone rings and one of my daughters hear it, they sing, "It's the money phone, it's the money phone." Right? Because that's where I made my money. So it was just natural conversations. But then they'd have friends come over and we'd still be talking about that, and they'd be looking like, "I have no idea what you're talking about. Like, we don't talk about this kind of stuff at my house. I'm not learning this in school." And so it just really started to propel itself, within my heart through the years. Both of my girls are adults now. And I just felt like I really had the time, and significantly, more expertise to grab in this industry to make a part of this project. And so that's really where it came from, was that there was a disconnect that I saw. And so what I hope happens is that this book is picked up from, age 13 plus. My 25-year-old is reading it right now. She already called me and she's like, "I didn't know that." So my hope is it's not just teens, right? But that parents engage in really meaningful dialogue with their teenagers. Um, we're hopeful that we have a potential opportunity to be part of school curriculum, using this as a text for financial literacy courses or mandates to graduate high school, and to qualify for scholarships. So that would be an unbelievable trajectory, for this book to ultimately get to. But we really just hope that even if there's just like one teen, right, one young adult that goes, "Yep, I needed that. That's where I'm going. I didn't know that," then that'll be powerful.
Well, and I think to your point, I think it is so powerful. And I have 2 grown daughters now. They're in their 20s, right? They'll get a copy of this because many people at that age or even younger, they're looking online. They're not going to pick up the phone and call and ask questions, right? They don't want to sound stupid. They don't even necessarily know what to ask. But financial literacy is critical. And Brooke, talk to me about kind of the gap that you guys hope to fill, because unfortunately, many schools don't teach fiscal responsibility. I mean, most people don't even know what a checkbook is anymore. So, they're not covering that. What do you hope that they get from some of the lessons in the book?
So we have a few chapters that talk about financial pitfalls and also mistakes. So this is definitely not a, we did everything perfectly and you should do exactly what we did. There's a lot of personal stories in the book of, this is what happened when I turned 18 and joined the military and ended up in bankruptcy 3 years later, or this is what happened when I went to college and saw the free what I thought of as a free T-shirt if I got the
Free.
credit card on campus, and a year later I had all this credit card debt. So there's a lot of personal stories of things that the authors wish that they had known back when they were teenagers. So we're hoping to help whoever reads this book to not have to go through those things that a lot of our authors went through. I always tell this story because it was one of the things, it was kind of the catalyst for me being interested in financial literacy. I worked at a credit union on a military installation, and I was opening, I can't remember, opening an account or credit card loan, or I don't know, something. And I had this, 19-year-old service member with me, and I pulled his credit. This is in Washington State. and reviewing his credit report with him. And I said, okay, so I see here that you have this Best Buy credit card that you haven't been making payments on. His mind was blown. He said, I opened that when I lived at Fort Benning in Georgia. How do you know about that? And nobody had ever sat him down and explained, when you apply for a loan and you're giving your social security number, that is going to follow you around and it's going to be on your credit report. And here's what a credit report is. And here's what your credit score is. And here's why it's important. Just something so basic that we assume that by the time you get to adulthood, people know. They don't know, because if somebody hasn't sat them down to explain it or given them a book like this, there's no reason they would know that. So that was, for me, I want to stop that from happening again.
Great stuff. And I think it's so critical because there aren't a lot of classes like that where we're teaching financial literacy. We're helping the teens, the young adults, so that they understand, hey, here's the ramifications of credit. And when you leverage credit and you don't use it wisely, here's why everything is going to cost more. What do you mean it's going to cost more? That's not fair. Why should I pay more than you? Well, because I have really good credit. And here's why. And, bringing that stuff to life is, I think, so critical. Dana, you've talked about bringing in so many authors. Share with me, and we don't want to leave anyone out. So if we miss somebody, but talk to me about some of the people that you brought on and some of the stories they share in the book.
Yeah, I really love that part of the book, because while it is very informational, it is really storytelling as well. I mean, as Brooke alluded to, right, there's some very personal mistakes that are shared in this book. And I loved that, these women were willing to be vulnerable to help
Right.
somebody else, hopefully not make the same mistake. And I just think that that's a testimony to all of the women that are part of this book. We could have had 100 women. I mean, honestly, Brooke and I we're passionate about financial literacy, but we're also really passionate about empowering women in financial services. And I spend a lot of my other time in doing a lot of advocacy for that as well. So this was able to kind of, collide those two worlds in a way that I just thought would be dynamic. And they're from all different backgrounds and different age groups. I mean, Hannah Hammond is a perfect example. As a matter of fact, happy birthday, Hannah. Today's her 20 something, 30 something. I don't know. She's on the younger side. But she is already a self-made millionaire in real estate, right? She is just doing some really powerful and awesome things. And I wanted that represented so other people in her generation can really, see that. And then, we got an old goat like me in here with 30 years of mortgage experience. And I got the great pleasure to write 3 different chapters for this book, all on 3 separate topics. But the one for me that really hit home was the ethics of money, because I think that gets lost with a lot of people, like the ethical behavior around money and how it can drive you to not do great things, or want things, maybe that you might be unwilling to work for. So Leora, Dee, Abby, who's in Alaska, like she's doing some really cool stuff with financial literacy in the, where she calls the upper part of the American. She say to us, Brooke, we're in the lower 40 or the lower something.
In the lower 48,
yeah. Hannah, Brooke, Elizabeth, who else?
Kristen, Julia, Dee.
Mm-hmm. I mean, just,
Patty.
13 other women, Patty Mason, besides me, gave their time, their attention, and their talent to this book. And I'm just so grateful.
Well, and I think that's part of the power of the Rethink Everything series. It brings a lot of people together. And I know from doing the Green Book and being a part of that, and just a small part in writing a chapter, we still have a very strong community on LinkedIn. We have our own channel and we communicate quite frequently. And hey, we're going to be at this conference. Who else is going? And you meet up with these individuals, and it's not like, hey, were you in the book, or I was in the book? It's like you were best friends. You've known them. You've been on a bunch of conference calls with them. Brooke, talk to me about that power of that network then, and being a part of something like this project.
Yeah, it's been amazing to see all of the contributors, all the women come together and support each other, and everybody is, we have like a group email that we are constantly adding things to. We I don't think we've really had any conferences or anything since we really started working on this where we've all been there, but we've talked about having our own little retreat coming up in fall, and either
Love
around
it.
one of the conferences that we'll all be at, or something else. I think that the women that were a part of this will continue to support each other for a long time to come.
Oh, and that's really what it's about. And I couldn't be more excited to help you guys promote the book because you're willing to give back to the industry. You're willing to help the next generation. And we have to think about that, right? We want to put our kids and our grandkids in a position so that they make good financial decisions. Dana, what's the best way people can get their hands on this book?
It is available on Amazon and on Goodreads. Amazon, we're running, still running the promotional price because of Financial Literacy Month. So, if you're looking for a copy, there's no better time than the present to go find it right on Amazon. We've reached the top seller in our category. We're
Congrats.
hopeful that we'll get to bestseller at some point because people see the value in, what we're putting out there. But already to have gotten that achievement in just the first 4 days of the books being launched it's just been incredible.
Well, and I
We,
think
we've
because you have such a strong message, go ahead, Brooke.
I was just going to say, we've also had people reach out to us about buying in bulk for
Oh,
organizations that they want to sponsor and donate the books to, or for their companies, or for school districts and that type of thing. So if anybody is interested in a bulk order, reach out to either Dana or I, and we can facilitate that.
and speaking of that, of reaching out to you guys, what's the best way to get a hold of each of you?
LinkedIn, you can always DM either one of us, right? We're on
Mhm.
there, frequently. You can email me at dana@lendingluminary.com. Brooke, I don't know where you.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not gonna say my email address, only because whenever I do, there's an initial in there that everyone misses and it goes somewhere else. So if you don't see it written down, it doesn't work. But on LinkedIn, if you reach out to me on LinkedIn, I will definitely see it.
Yeah,
Well, I
absolutely.
feel your pain with my company name, Next Level Advisors. There's no T in it, and everyone wants to put the T in. So they're like, well, I sent it to Next Level. I'm like, well, I don't work at Next Level. My company is Next Level. So I feel your pain there. I can't thank you guys enough sharing your time, giving back to the industry, and really making an impact. For those of you listening, go grab a copy, share it with your kids, put it in the school districts that you're at. We can have an impact and truly make a difference and change the current state of financial literacy in our country and beyond. Women, thank you so much for empowering us, for all of the incredible authors that you have. You guys have done a great job. Brooke, Dana, I can't thank you enough for being guests on this episode of the FinTech Hunting Podcast.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.